Well, Tony Gosling, let me get your reaction on this headline that ran before this happened. It said from the National, the Trump administration is undercutting democracy in Bolivia. Will the U.S. and the Organization of American States, the OAS, once again be able to turn the election results? It sounds like they did. But what's your reaction to this headline that ran before this happened?
Well, I think we have to be a little bit careful about apportioning blame, but I'm sure many people in Latin America will be immediately suspecting the US of hand here. I mean, just contrast what happened after the elections in Bolivia with last year's elections in Venezuela. There was a very similar attempt to turn the army against the newly elected president. This time it's been a failure, or a success. In Venezuela, it was a failure. These attempts are happening all over the place now, and really it's a kind of form of new colonialism. And if you think about it, the old Spanish and Portuguese colonialism in South America has now come a bit closer to home. This colonialism is now coming from North America and from the Pentagon. And really this is a fight which is going on in many parts of the world, oligarchy versus democracy. So when the people decide they want a particular leader, the oligarchy get worried that their power, their wealth, their domination is going to go with this new leader taking some of their wealth away from them, their power away from them. And so they fight back. I mean, what we've seen, though, is these police demonstrations most recently. They were the most serious. That didn't happen in Venezuela. And the Army Chief of Staff, Williams Kaliman, demanding that the president renounce his mandate. Well, this is a military coup, effectively. It may not involve the presidential palace being surrounded by troops, but it's a soft military coup nevertheless. So it shows to me that the Bolivian state does not have control of its military. And this is what in Venezuela was very, very important. And it would be crucial in this sort of situation. The loyalty of the troops is actually to the Pentagon in Bolivia. It's quite clear to me. And evidence will probably come out more about that. And not to the people or the president, the newly elected president of Bolivia. And it's a question of violence versus, this is the sort of ultimatum that the army have given that you might expect from a gangster or a mobster. You know, it's either you do as we say, or there will be no peace in this country. Now that is the head of the police. It's the sort of thing you might expect from the head of the Chicago mob.
If you're getting this type of intervention coming from the U.S., as you have both stated, John Stepling, don't you think that especially members of the OAS who supported this, they may become the victims next if they don't listen to U.S. diktats?
Well, I think the brutality of the opposition here in Bolivia, which exceeds even that of what we saw in Venezuela, is intentional. This is a statement. This is a message. You know, do what you are told. And you can see on Twitter videos released by the Santa Cruz Council and the UCJ, I think it is, with the opposition youth flashing fascist salutes and so forth. So there's, you know, the intention is clear and the message is clear. And Morales's house has already been ransacked and you know, destroyed and vandalized. So a military coup it is indeed. To say he resigned is the same as saying, you know, Aristide resigned. Yes, at gunpoint. This is the CIA playbook, and I don't think there's much question that this was a U.S. orchestrated coup, and it's been in the works for a while. There was a lot of Morales made a lot of people unhappy, and with each step he took towards autonomy and you know, self direction for his nation, the more unsettling it became in Washington, and the more clear I think it became that he had to go in their minds.
Thank you, John Stepling, author and commentator, and thank you, Tony Gosling, investigative journalist. And that does it for our news review.